time.
Nicole Clark, who is cooling off this weekend in Indianapolis, she said, right?
Yes, it's cooler temperatures in my office this week. A couple weeks ago, it was like 90 in my office. Now it's a brisk 73.
How about if I trade you? It's like 108 here. So I did not turn my cooler off, and I apologize if it's making noise in the background, but it's kind of warm here, and I've been working today, so I definitely needed the cooling going on here. So what's been going on the last couple of weeks?
Not much. I was just actually, when we're talking about cars, I was just in Minnesota, seeing the parents and friends and stuff like that. But my dad, he's got that 62 Chevy Impala, and he was at Back to the 50s, where I think it's one of the largest classic car shows in the country. They had 9,000 cars on Friday and 12,000 cars on Saturday. He did not bring me home. He did not bring me home my Corvette like I've always wanted, my little red and white, Roadster Corvette convertible. So maybe next year.
I will share two little pieces of car history with you. The one behind me is a 1962 Studebaker Lark. Woo. It's actually in really nice shape. It belongs to my shop landlord, and a couple of years I put a small block Chevy in it. We did the conversion that was a really standard thing. I mean, back in those days, you could actually get a Studebaker from the factory with a small block Chevy in it. So his had the Studebaker motor in it, but he had always wanted to do it. So a couple of years ago, we made that swap, and it had developed a fuel leak that I'm pretty sure I have fixed. But at some point during the show, if you see gas running across the floor behind me, just say something so I can get out of here before the whole building goes up. And the other thing from the, wow, how cool is this? On my flight home from Ohio, one of the offerings that American Airlines has on their, free entertainment was American Graffiti.
Perfect. That fit in. And whose dad inspired it?
Well, I mean, at least part of it. Yeah, we talked about that when Larry Dixon was on the show. George Lucas grew up in the Valley. And just in case you missed that show, you can go back and find it in the archives. But George Lucas grew up in the Valley. Yeah. And the two baddest cars at the time when he was a teenager was a guy that had a yellow 5-window coupe and a guy that had a 55 Chevy. And the guy that had the 55 Chevy was Larry Dixon Sr. So I guess he was at least a little bit of the inspiration for La Alfalfa. But I literally was cruising through the entertainment thing, and I went, wow, really? American Graffiti? I haven't seen that in 100 years. So I had to click on and watch again a very young Ronnie Howard and a very young Harrison Ford and very young Mackenzie Phillips and on and on and on. But a cool old, and everybody right now that's under 40 is going, what's the name of the movie? Trust me on this. Go back and watch American Graffiti. You'll laugh, you'll cry, it'll change your whole life. It was a coming-of-age movie back in the 1960s and 70s.
Now, I'm going to out Will Smith and one of his crew guys. We were at dinner, and they'd never seen any of the Star Wars movies.
Really?
Really? And I'm just like, and Will stays at my house because I have extra guest rooms, and I'm like, just go pack up your stuff and go. Just go. He has to. And I even, before he left the next day, I put my DVD set down by his bag, and I'm like, you watch it. Next time I'm going to give you a book report.
Perfect. While I guess we're on the theme, coming home, I was in the airport, and I had finished the book that I had, and I am a very avid reader. I always have to have something handy to read, and had nothing. So I wandered into the book and magazine shop there at the airport in Ohio, and Time magazine has a special 50th anniversary Star Wars issue. And it is the complete history, all the Star Wars. So I've been catching up on all my Star Wars trivia. I have not seen them all, but I definitely saw the original trilogy, and then I've seen bits and pieces of some of the other stuff. So, but when I was a kid, when the original Star Wars came out in 1977, I was 14 years old. So that was a big deal for that's who it was aimed at, right? It was science fiction for kids, or science fantasy, I guess, for kids. But
I met Carrie Fisher. I have like a whole shelf devoted to Carrie Fisher, and I'm like, just go.
Well, you just reminded me of a princess rap battle that you'll have to look up if you're into princess rap.
It just
came across Leia versus, I don't remember who it was, but it's like, calm down, Grandma.
Yeah.
All right, enough classic movie silliness. Been a lot of racing action since the last time we got together. So let's start. Where do you want? Let's start in Bristol. They went to Bristol. They finished up Epping because they didn't get to run the Nitro finals from Epping, so they got that wrapped up. Leah back in the winner's circle. That was obviously a big deal for her since Tony, her husband, had already had one of the Diamond Wallies from the 75th anniversary. Now she's got her own. And I mean, it was just a great. They finished Epping, and then he went on and had a brilliant Bristol race as well. The new surface there, I think, was as much as anything the star of the show.
Yeah, and it was great because they got to keep their rocking chairs, and just seeing Leah being able to sit there and rock with Dom, and be there and for Dom to cheer on his mama. I'm like, I thought, and she's been so close at winning at Bristol before. She was in the finals against Clay during his year, so it was great to see Leah in the winner's circle again.
And then the Force team had a pretty good day. Jack Beckman ended up with one, and then we come back to Bristol, and Matt Hagan got one that he had been chasing forever and ever because I don't think a lot of people think about it like this, but Bristol really is one of Matt Hagan's home tracks. It's only a couple hours from his place.
Yeah, he said 2.5 hours. It's closer. Everybody assumes it's like Charlotte or something like that. He's like, no. And then it's opposite with Clay. Everybody assumes that's like Clay's home track, and that's actually pretty far away from him.
Yeah, Clay always considered St. Louis his home track. I used to use him for Nitro School in Bristol because he's from Tennessee, and he's like, I am from Tennessee, but I'm like across the street from Gateway, and I'm 400 miles from Bristol. But Bristol certainly loves their home stater anyway. His first ever win there when we played Rocky Top in the winner's circle, and that was a bring down the house moment. It was pretty cool. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And then so the Force and the all Force finals, so we knew it was going to be a Force, and then Jack actually had the chance to triple up on because he also got the Too Fast, correct? I'm trying to remember.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so I'm like, now it's been a couple days because I'm like, ooh, let's see if we can triple up, man. Let's do this.
Then Hagan pulls through. Antron Brown back in the winner's circle. I think that was, it was interesting listening to Brian Karate a couple of races ago when he said that they were really in test mode, that they didn't have the same clutch disc combination that they used to have, and they were basically trying to prepare and make sure that they'd be ready come Indy time and come countdown time. But putting one together and getting in the winner's circle, you could tell it was a big deal for their team because it had been a while since they'd done that. And then, not Hartford, huh?
I was going to say,
what are we going to do with that guy?
He loves that track too. He's won at Bristol before too. I'm like, hasn't he? Or is this his first one?
I believe it was his first Bristol, but it was his third of the year. And, it's certainly the most productive year, at least to this point, that he's had so far. So, I think anybody that doesn't believe he's a legit championship threat isn't paying attention. He and Eddie and Adam and Amber, that's the whole team. And they've got that Total Seal car humping along pretty good right now.
Oh, yeah, and I always love Amber's reactions, too. The pro stock wives are so passionate, and so half the fun is just watching it. I mean, even when Erica watching Courtney, like, the pro stock women's supporters are so great to watch them, like, when they win.
Well, there's a name for that when Amber goes off like that. You know that, right? You've never heard that? It's an Amber alert. Like, you got to get out of the way when Amber goes off because her celebration will liable to give anybody within 5 feet like a black eye or a busted lip or something because she is not holding back when it comes to celebrating.
I can see that. I would too. So yeah. So we had that, and then of course what we're gonna be talking about too is the iTray race, Triple Crown.
Yeah, Triple Crown race looked like a huge hit. They ended up with a little bit of weather Sunday afternoon, which backed them up, put the finals under the lights, which didn't seem to really upset a lot of people, right? I mean, Nitro cars under the lights are pretty good, but the turnout of cars that they had was very strong.
Yes.
A lot of drama in qualifying when you've got 5 or 6 more cars and you've got spots to race. And then race day was very strong as well. And top to bottom, not just the Nitro cars, but the Pro Mods were crazy. John DeFlorian finally getting a win and Mountain Motor was a big deal. Their shows are getting more refined and better, I think, as they move on. And this is kind of in the, ask the announcer thing that we'll get to later, but I had so many people reach out and say, where are you? And I guess they missed the memo. I parted ways with IHRA a couple of weeks ago, so I'm no longer doing any of their events, but it certainly looked from where I was watching from. I followed a little bit on the live stream and then certainly was following along, the results after it was over with. Looked like they put on a terrific show out there.
And they had a good audience. Like you said, it was tough with the qualifying here. And then we had and we'll get to where you actually did stop into. We'll get into that after this, but because I know you're at another place. But it was we had a father-daughter top fuel race. I don't think that's ever happened before. We've had it in Funny Car, but have we ever had a father-daughter Salinas race before?
No, there have been a couple of father-son races in Top Fuel over the years. Of course, the Torrances have done it most recently, but Scott and Connie back in the day. So those races have taken place. But a father-daughter, to my knowledge, has never ever happened in Top Fuel, and it was the first time the Salinas did it. And so Jasmine, at least for now, has bragging rights. But it was really good to see Mike back in the car. He's been saying for a long time that he was going to come back, he was going to do this, and to come back, qualify. The fact that he had to race his daughter round one was probably a little bit bittersweet, but it was good to see Mike back in the car. And I have not spoken to him since then, but I would not be surprised if that did this again, right? Okay, when are we going to run? We got to go do this again. We got to go do this again. I'm reasonably certain that he will be at the next Triple Crown race coming up in Maple Grove, but whether he will make another appearance before then, I don't know.
And what can I say about this too is that, because I noticed people, like when I watch in the starting line, I notice people, can we talk about all the retired crew guys that were out there? Because running all these extra cars and for extra teams, you had to bring the whole lot out, so like you said, over at Salinas we had Lagana, and then over at Trips, you had pulling back out Lagana. Salinas, they're bringing out dads of crew guys in, and then you had Krista, and Ron Douglas does both Salinas and Foley, or why am I stuck on Salinas? Does both Krista and Foley. And so, they had to bring extra guys because they were over in this car. And so, and we had Bobby, her husband, bless his heart, her husband stepped up. We had Jake Sanders running 2 cars. Didn't he have his fuel altered and his top fuel dragster? And I think he said in a post that he may have turned top fuel. And so we had Katie. I don't know if Katie was bugged for both of them, because I was watching from Minnesota also. I was with Sarah watching one day for a little bit. And so you had all the retired crew guys out there, crew guys you haven't seen forever. They were all pitching in and helping out there.
Yeah, there were definitely some old familiar faces in some unfamiliar places out there, but that's what you have to do if you're a part-time team. You don't have the full-time guys on the payroll like that, but there are plenty of guys, this as well as I do, a little inside baseball. There are plenty of guys that spent 5, 10, 15 years on the road that just got tired of the road. But they certainly haven't forgot how to work on a car. They don't mind going out once in a while. They just don't want to be back, full time living in hotels and doing that. So it's usually not too difficult. And it's not like you're dragging people out of the stands that don't know what a spark plug is. You've got people that have a lot of experience. And I think one of the things that kind of lends to the IHRA side of the things, their schedule is a little bit more laid back than the NHRA schedule. And so you don't have to worry about, can these guys turn it in 45 minutes, or can these guys get it back to the starting line in an hour? So you've got the time that guys that don't work together week in and week out can spend a little time, get acclimated with each other. And it gives everybody time to not only do their work, but get a double check. Because from what I saw, didn't see a whole lot of carnage, didn't see a whole lot of cleanup, didn't see a whole lot of issues out there. It really was a pretty cleanly run race. So even though I'm no longer a part of it, a legitimate tip of the cap to the guys over there that all made it happen.
Yeah, so it was great seeing everybody out there and seeing the heavy competition. Like I said, I thought they had a good crowd on that Saturday, and they did a lot of keeping people entertained while they were that time. So yeah, kudos to them. And then where were you? Where'd you stop by? You're telling us?
Well, I made a cameo appearance. I was in Ohio for the weekend as well. I had some non-racing related business in Ohio that I had scheduled originally around the Triple Crown race. And then when I parted ways with IHRA, it's like, well, at some point I'm still going to need to go to Ohio. You know what? I've already got the plane ticket. I've already planned the weekend for this. I don't have anything else going on, so I'm going to just go do it. So I flew out to Ohio and took care of what I needed to take care of. And I ended up with some free time on Saturday. And I literally was picked up my phone and said, how far is it to Norwalk? It said 1 hour and 40 minutes. And I thought, yeah, I'm going. So I drove up to Norwalk, who was in the middle of a double divisional up there, and did a little cameo appearance. I kind of walked in the tower and everybody went, what are you doing here? I just stop by. But I spent a little bit of time on the microphone, said hi to everybody, and then bailed out of there about, I don't know, 5 or 5:30 or something, and headed back. But yeah, it was my next, as of right now anyway, unless somebody's got a bar mitzvah or a mall opening or something they need me for next week. 4th of July, I will be in Lebanon Valley, and if you are in the neighborhood, it's a really cool weekend what they do in Lebanon Valley, because they've got the big Division I regional, and they have a huge circle track event going on the same weekend. Both racetracks are on the same piece of property. And it's been the last couple of years, and I can't tell you this year for sure, but the last couple of years, they have had the only official fireworks display in the greater Albany area. So there's a lot of people that come out to enjoy, whether it's the drag races or whether it's the circle track races, and enjoy the fireworks. And with 4th of July being on Saturday night, I expect it to be a big time. Fun will be had by all type of evening, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and see, when you're talking about crew guys who just, get tired of it and can't be on the road, all the road all the time, that would be my brother. I don't know if you saw him out there. So my big brother, JR, he was out helping Sarah Allen. That was more of like my mom and dad and I are like, yeah, you need to get to a race. Yeah. So he actually went out and helped Sarah Allen with her, and they won their first round. I was very proud of her. And he's actually at the gasket shop this week, and he's going back this weekend to also help out with them. So crew guys, it never leaves their system. They will always get pulled back in, man.
Well, and like I said, I think for most of them, once in a while is okay. You get to the point where you don't want to spend 200 or 250 nights a year in hotels anymore, but once in a while is just fine. So what else have we got going on here?
Yeah. So what else have we got going on? Yeah. I'm sorry I got stuck on that.
No, that's fine. I mean, and saw the note on the bottom there about the Hot Rod reunion down in Bowling Green. I didn't pay a lot of attention to that, but I understand that they had a very nice event down there as well. I'm just never been a nostalgia guy. I appreciate what they do, and the cars and the stuff is pretty awesome, but I have always believed that the good old days start tomorrow. So I've never been a real follower of the nostalgia stuff, but I know the guys that are out there that have the passion for it. And it's just like anybody else, right? It's like we're out here, we're racing. We're trying to do the best we can with the stuff we got. We want to come out here and win. So, and Bowling Green is such a cool historic place. Now, I do like going back and visiting the historic racetracks, and I will be at Bowling Green a little bit later on this year. But good for them. They were, had another great event down there. Brock is one of the guys that really wants to make sure, kind of like the Baders and the Bandamiers that everybody talked about, that when people come visit his place, they're treated like guests. They're treated like they really wanted to be there. So. Good on them. But yeah, well, it's summertime, right? I mean, it's time to go racing. So everybody's in full swing right now.
Oh yeah, you got cars and coffees every weekend, and we have those here in town. So yeah, it's perfect time of year to do that. Graham Rahal throws some good coffees and cars here. At least he used to when he was in Brownsburg. So yeah, now's the time to get out, show off your car, show off all your friends' cars.
Yeah, I love those events because even though I'm not a coffee drinker, I'm a car guy. And the opportunities for me to get my 67 Mustang out. And when you're talking about a car like mine that doesn't have air conditioning and has black vinyl seats, 3 o'clock in the afternoon is not the time that you want to take the thing out someplace, but 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning is the perfect time that you could take the thing out someplace. And so let's see what else we got. There were actually a couple of pieces of some sad news over the weekend. We lost John Rodek in a highway traffic accident, which is just tragic. I mean, the guy, in good health and very active and but as I understand it, he was actually on his way to meet some of his buddies. They were going to take a fishing trip, and had an accident on the highway, and he passed. And then out in Sonoma, California, had the problem out there with Shane Molinari, and I don't know any details other than they were running a shootout type event out in Sonoma, California. He had an accident out there and passed away. And that's just another, talked about it so many times over the years, but every once in a while you get reminded that, we ain't playing with yarn balls, and the cars are really fast, and you take all of the safety precautions, everything that you can do, but you just are not 100% perfectly safe. So just want to send all of our positive energy and best wishes to families and friends and people that are going through a difficult time right now. The racing family always pulls together in times like this. So if there's anything that's needed, just let somebody know, and I guarantee you everybody will jump in and help however we can.
I'm like, yeah, I met Shane a few times when I worked with Real Promo. Just real stand-up nice guy. Really
yeah, I didn't know him real well on a personal level, but he was kind of a West Coast guy, so we did bump into each other from time to time. But he had the reputation of being the guy like, what do you need? Anything you need? What do you know? You need something out of the trailer, you need something off my car, you need would help anybody, and whether it was parts, whether it was advice, whether it was just mentor. His daughter had been racing and doing very well also. So it's a true shame that every once in a while we get reminded that something that we all love so much and are so passionate about is still dangerous from time to time. And every once in a while we get that very harsh reminder.
I think that now is a good time then to go to the break, and maybe we'll come back and do Ask the Announcer while we wait for Larry.
Sure, if that's what you want to do, we can do that. Let's take a break real quick, and we'll be back. The Alan Reinhart Show.
If you want to take your vehicle's performance to new heights, you got to give it P. Like our original equipment technology, antifreeze, and coolant, our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle. That's one reason why Peak is among the fastest growing brands of coolant in America. We work harder to earn the trust of people like you every day.
Seeing that Peak commercial reminded me there was a huge drag and drive event going on this past weekend. If you follow those types of cars, I follow Alex fairly regularly and keep in touch with her on a normal basis. And every time you see something Peak, it kind of reminds you of her. But they had their typical share of trials and tribulations and run with the drag and drive movement out there this past week.
Yeah, and I always think of it because Peak and Brian Bolander, because it comes up on my feed. His daughter, Anastasia, is an amazing photographer. She's actually shooting with Auto Imagery, and she was out with them shooting the drag and drive, and she has it's AJ Bolander Photography. I think she has some great pictures from that event. So that's how I knew. I'm like, hey, look at where it must be that weekend. I'm seeing her great pictures.
Yeah, like I said, it's summertime, right? So it's time for everything to get going out there right now. All of the drag racing series are in full swing. As a matter of fact, where I'm from, they're just about to shut down for a little bit, simply because you go places like Brainerd, Minnesota, where they're obviously not going to race in January and February, but then you come places like here, where July and August, you'll melt the tires off of the car just driving up to the staging lanes. So most of the tracks in this part of the world either will slow down or will start doing some midnight stuff this time of year if they don't have any curfews. So that's why things are slowing down out here, but out in the Midwest and the rest of the world, it is like full speed ahead. Norwalk coming up this weekend with the NHRA Big Stop. They had the big double divisional last weekend, and everybody always talks about the ice cream, but the reality is that is a big time event on the NHRA tour that everybody looks forward to.
Yeah, like I said, I know several people who went to it. I kept track of it, and I saw Bellamere won, and I'm like, when does Bellamere not win in top alcohol? So the nice thing is that you have alcohol cars can double up, and they get the ice cream scoop at Norwalk, and that's a really quick thing before we get to Larry. It's just have you guys seen the smack talk going down for the ice cream eating contest between Matt Hagan and Gianna Salinas? I'm sorry, her last name.
I have to admit, I have not seen that.
Please look it up if you've not. Matt Hagan and his son and them made this great video of Matt training for the ice cream eating contest. He's like boxing, and Colby's giving him, ice cream, and then Gianna, she's like, oh, because she's the 2-time winner. She's going for a 3-peat.
Oh yeah, she's been tearing it up out there in the ice cream eating contest. Just one of the hey, I think we've got Larry. Yay, we've got Larry.
So if you haven't watched,
Larry McBride is going to join us momentarily after a couple of words from Weldon. We're grateful to have Weldon as a supporter of the Alan Reinhart Show. are back. Thanks again to the folks at Weldon, and let's welcome in the Spider-Man. Everything Top Fuel motorcycle in the history of the world has been accomplished. Every record set, every championship won, everything by the man who's joining us right now. And Larry, we're going to go backwards here. Normally, I have a guest come in and we start at the beginning, but right now everybody wants to know first and foremost, you're all right, correct?
I'm good, a little banged up, beat up, but I'm good, a little sore for sure. A lot better today. Today's been a good day. I actually felt good enough to come up here to the shop. So it's been a lot of things going through my brain the last few days.
I know pretty much everybody on the planet has seen the video at one point or another. Tell us what happened.
Well, it was kind of crazy. It was a perfect storm. Everything went good on the run, and I had walked the racetrack, and I knew there was a little dip there, no big deal. It was not a big issue. And right as it was funny when I shut off and I was coasting, and right as I hit the dip, I was going for the brake. And when you hit a dip, you kind of bottom out. Well, when it did that, I lost it. It knocked my hand because I was going for the brake. So now I lost my hand went down, and
you don't have to watch this if you don't want to.
Yeah, it was crazy. So my hand went down, and then about the same time all this was going on, or at the same time, I burped the throttle with burp. Well, that set me back up, and then my hand the wind got me, and the next thing I know, I'm just battling for my life to try to get back over the handlebar, and unfortunately, it didn't work out for me. And I held on as long as I could till this is going to hurt, and I just kind of let go of the right hand and just trying to clear the motorcycle, try to get away from it, and the good Lord was good enough to get me away from it. And then I was just trying to make sure I kept my hands and my feet up in the air and hope I kept sliding and not tumble. And I was good enough not to start tumbling until right there at the end. So I don't know exactly, what speed was going when I started tumbling, but still felt pretty fast to me. But then I sat there for just a second. So, man, okay, I'm okay. And I just jumped up because my wife and my kids and my grandkids and everybody was watching what happened. So I just wanted to get up to make sure they knew that I was okay. So that's exactly what happened. No backfire. A lot of people have been saying it backfired and blowed me off and all that. None of that's true. The social media is pretty mean, man. A lot of these people have said all these bad things about me that is so untrue. It kind of hurts your feelings, but you got to bypass. A lot of them people are just unhappy people, and they just want everybody else to be unhappy. And thank God I'm still here with you, man. I've known you for a long time, and boy, I sure didn't want to have to go on your show this way. I was hoping I was going to get on there after winning the $30,000, right? But unfortunately, I think I'm coming on here after I'm going to be spending more than $30,000. So. But I'm still proud to be here and proud to be on your show, brother.
Well, I'm very grateful to have you, and I'm grateful to still have you as a friend. I sent a text message. I'm sure you had 5,000 of them the night. Just again, a little insight. I sent a message that said, I'm paraphrasing. You scared the crap out of me. Don't ever do that again.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
But you came back to the racetrack. I saw that you did an interview with Ken and Tommy in the booth. Looked like you had a bandage on your arm, but other than that, it's pretty amazing. I hope you sent a thank you note to the guy who built your leathers and who did all that to keep you safe sliding down there.
I mean, that's about the amount of the road racks that I got. So I got the best leathers in the world. Vanson built them, and it's good. I got one little spot on my knee, and just 3 stitches in my arm. Probably the most thing that's hurt on me is my ego, right? I mean, it's sure, I'm not supposed to make that, it was a mistake on my part, and I'll own it. But, it's just kind of the perfect storm that lined up. God, it's, it probably would never happen in another 1,000 runs. It was just a perfect deal that happened. And, some people use two fingers on a brake, and, I never have. I've always, held on with my thumb and my palm and, took my other four fingers and grabbed the brake. And it's just the way to hit that bump. And you just kind of slam down, just kind of bottom out. When I did that, I lost that and burnt the throttle at the same time. So everything kind of happened at one time. And when it set me up and the wind got my arm, I knew right then that I was in trouble.
I apologize for some of the background noise. I'm actually in the flight line of Davis-Monthan Air Force Base out here in Tucson, Arizona. So every once in a while we get the jets going by. Larry, you said probably won't happen again in the next 1,000 runs. Let's put this on the record right here and right now. You are not retiring, correct?
Yeah. I'm not retiring at this moment. No, sir. We're actually, Steve's done got the motorcycle all apart. There's no way we can get it repaired by the next race. Fortunately, I do have another bike. I don't think I'm going to be physically ready to go to Michigan, to Milan. And I got some, I still got to do some stuff in my head. I got to get back right too. So it's, you can't be 90% to ride one of these things. You got to be 100. You got to be over 100%. I mean, I know 100% is most you're supposed to be getting, but you got to be 110%. And I just don't think I can do that in just a few weeks. I've got options on motorcycles to ride. I've got a brand new one sitting here in the shop that really only needs put a blower belt on it, and it's really ready to go. It's never been down the track, but it's really ready to go. And then my old bike I've got rebuilt. It needs a Leahy box on it and wired up, and it would be ready to go. And of course, as you know, I sold Daryl Cuddle, Jimmy Brantley's bike. That's 100% ready to go. And Daryl's offered that bike to me. So I do have options. I'm not going to leave something that I love. It's a passion. It's a love. And God, I just don't want to go out like this. I just don't want to go out like this.
Understand completely. And when you're ready, I guarantee you the fans will be ready to welcome you back with open arms. So whatever you got to do, get your mind straight, get physical, but definitely looking forward to seeing you at some point back out on the racetrack. Can't wait to see that.
Well, I got to come back and harass you some.
Yeah.
That's what my job is.
Let's go back in time now. This is normally where I start with every guest that has been on the show. How did you first get involved, interested, started in drag racing? What was your first exposure that made you think this is something I want to do?
Well, I was a dirt bike rider. I did motocross, and then when you get 17, 18 years old, you're getting back then the bikes weren't as good as they are today, so you're kind of at your end of your career in the dirt bikes, and I was a decent dirt bike rider, won a lot of races, did really well, and got introduced to dirt drags. And I started dirt drag racing with a guy named Squeaky Bell here, and I was riding Harleys. And then in 1978, I started racing on the asphalt. Squeaky built a bike, and then we supercharged it, and I went out and I started racing. Some NHRA stuff, and then in 1980, just skip a year there because I rode the Harley from 78, 79 and part of 80. And then in 1980, Danny Johnson was a Top Fuel racer. And this is back when Top Fuel was a class in NHRA. And he had crashed in Fremont, California 2 weeks prior to the U.S. Nationals. So he brought the bike back, got it all fixed, called me and asked me if I would ride it at the U.S. Nationals. And I'd never rode an inline 4 supercharged bike. I said, sure, why not? So off to Indy I went, and I runner-up at the U.S. Nationals on my first race to Bo O'Brocta. And then I raced from 1980 to 83 for Danny Johnson. And then 84, I raced for a couple guys here in town, and it just wasn't going in the direction that I thought that it would go. So 85, I started my own deal. I said, I need to do my, control my own destiny. So I actually bought Terry Vance's bike in 1985. And then I went from 1985 to 1992 on Terry's bike, and I crashed in Gainesville, Florida, 1992 at 205, and that was back when they had guardrails. It was Armco back then, and I had a new tire on the thing that we was testing. I won't say the company, but we was testing the tire for a company for the Top Fuel motorcycles, and things didn't work out my way, and I was headed for the opening of the guardrail, and you might remember Ernie Ralph in Indy when he hit the opening of the guardrail, and unfortunately the outcome wasn't very well. So I had to bail, so I had to bail off. So no real serious injuries again. I did spend a week in the hospital, a lot more serious than what I got right now. Some quite a few stitches and some broken bones, and got me all repaired. And then I built my new bike, and it took me I don't know, about a year and a half or so. I didn't get to come back till 1994. So we built a new bike in '94 with Fred Buckley, and we raced that for several years. And then Fred passed away, and I kind of ended up with the family kind of told me to take everything, and I just kept going from there, and just keeping it going. And Pingle's been one of my supporters ever since '94, so they've helped me a lot along the way. So and I am where I am today, and of course today ain't probably one of the best days, but if I could move it back a week, it was really good. But I'm just still glad to be able to do it at 68 years old. So I'm still in good shape. God spared me, man. He's got something else for me to do, so I'm just gonna keep going.
In your wildest dreams, you could not have figured out back in the 80s, 90s, that this would be your life for the next 4 decades, that this would be your career, that this would be how you made a living, took care of your kids, put food on the table. I mean, just amazing the way it turned out.
Oh, it's unbelievable, Alan. It's in 2015, I was at Atco racing, and I had a major engine explosion, and of course I got 3rd-degree burns. And this is kind of funny story. They tell me, they say, you got 3rd-degree burns. He said, we got to fly you to the hospital to I forget, in Pennsylvania. I can't remember where they flew me to, but they said, you got to fly to the hospital. I said, no, I can ride an ambulance. I don't have a problem. I really can't afford a helicopter ride. And they said, well, you got to go in the thing. I said, ma'am, you're not understanding this. I got Obamacare. They're not going to pay for this helicopter ride. So she says, no, in the state of New Jersey, it's free. Don't worry about it. Well, let's go in the helicopter then.
Let's go.
So I went in the helicopter. They flew me to the hospital, and somehow in my paperwork got messed up that I didn't have no insurance. They released me out of the hospital with 3rd-degree burns. Reggie Showers picked me up at the hospital, drove me back to the racetrack. The next morning, I got up and drove the tractor trailer 6 hours back home. So, and on my way home, I called a friend of mine that's a trauma surgeon, and he said, Larry, when you stop, send me some pictures of what's going on. So I sent him some pictures. He said, oh my God, I'll set everything up. When you get back to the shop, you come instantly to my office.
Wow.
And it was at, 7 o'clock at night. So I met him at the office. He arranged everything. The very next morning, I'm in surgery. And they had to go in there and scrape and clean everything. And he sent me home for 2 weeks. He said, I'm not going to put you in the hospital. He said, you got a better chance of not getting infections at home. So he said, I'll come by and check on you. So that's what he did. And 2 weeks later, he said, I don't normally do skin grafts. He said, but I'm going to do yours. That's great. So he did my skin grafts, and man, they absolutely did an unbelievable job. And sent me back out. And 2016, I brought my new bike out, and it's been good ever since, up until now.
You guys are badasses in Top Fuel Harley. I'm just gonna say that right now. I'm like, you
It's
guys
not a
are
Harley.
the toughest in that class. You guys are the toughest people ever. Even like my Top Fuel guys, I worked briefly at Top Fuel, your class, and all the guys are like, no, you couldn't get me on one of those things. Nope, nope, nope. So you guys are like the respected badasses out there. I just want to point that out.
It's so funny. Gary Selzy, he said he told me one time, said, Larry, I won't get down the electric chair to get on that thing. And and I've had the fortune, and as Alan knows, I've had a good fortune in racing, and a lot of help by a lot of people. Alan Johnson, Kibo, that worked for Alan for years and years, one of my best friends, and so I got a lot of help to go fast from them guys. And knowing Gary was a pretty awesome deal, because I got to get in a couple of winter circle shots, and I got a big picture on my wall out there where my shipping bench is, and it's a big picture of me and Gary and Alan and all us, and I'm holding the trophy in the winter circle. Well, and where I'm going with this is I had got 10 drums of nitro, and somehow this nitro by a company I won't mention, and Alan knows who it is, put it on Facebook. Well, next thing you know, I am ate up here at the shop with Homeland Security. I thought I was going to prison.
Oh.
Well, the guy, one of the investigators with Homeland Security, walked in, and he sees that picture. He said, Gary's my uncle. And, the guy walked me through everything. They didn't arrest me because he knew what I was using the nitro for. He helped me. They was here for 3.5 days, getting everything straight and all the paperwork straight, instead of arresting me and taking me to jail, which their plan was when they came here, and confiscating all the nitro. But once he saw who it was and what it was doing, I mean, it all changed.
Usually hanging out with Gary gets you into trouble, not out of trouble. I mean, that's been my experience anyway.
Well, I know, and I've been in some of them deals where you could possibly get in trouble with Gary, especially in Topeka, Kansas, right? I've been there, with Fuzzy Carter and all of them guys. I've been through all of that with everything, and but Gary actually got me out of trouble that day, so it was an awesome deal.
Yeah, there have definitely been some team building exercises in Topeka that we should probably steer clear of around here. You touched on it a minute ago. I was going to bring it up, and I'd really like to hear more about it. The number of people over the years that have approached you and offered help, or the number of people that have been willing to help when you ran into something that you were struggling with, because everybody I talked to was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Did you know they're doing this? Did you know they're doing that? Did you see that they've moved up to this? But there is a lot of interest in what you're doing in a lot of trailers out there that most of the casual fans probably don't understand.
Yeah, they don't, God, I've had so much help, and now, with Capco, all them boys help me, Richard Hogan's a good friend of mine, Bobby Lagana, all them guys that come over and help me is it's unbelievable. And I'm really involved with Bill Miller, Bill, and
Yep.
And he's a wonderful man. I really can't say enough of them, but my motorcycle is probably the closest thing you can get for a motorcycle to be, as far as all the components being what a Top Fuel car is. And that's what I've always done. And that's probably one of the reasons that we are as fast as we are, is because I just follow their lead. Some of them crew chiefs get a lot of money, they're a lot smarter than we are. So we just kind of follow their lead and do what they do, and just in a smaller version, and not near as much horsepower. We don't stand on them quite as hard as they do because the motor's underneath of us. But the end result, I got all the exact same components that they run, the same, ERP fuel pumps, MSD Mag 44, EM boxes, all of that, you know. I've been talking about, you know, EM boxes. Dave Leahy's another great friend of mine that's helped me a lot. Jim Head. I mean, it just, so I've you know, when you take and you can surround yourself with good people, usually good things happen, and you have to treat people right. And I think that's one thing that I've done in my life, other than pouring water in your truck, in your rental car. I've pretty well done everything. You know, I've treated everybody right. I think you're probably the one I treated the worst when I put the whole cooler of water and ice in your rental car. But you know, that was all out of fun, man. But that was some of them Team Winston nights.
I was actually thinking about that earlier in the week, and for the life of me, I can't remember what I did to provoke that, because I know that was a retaliation for something, but I can't remember what I did first.
You pushed me in a cooler. Yes.
Oh yeah.
It was a big long white cooler,
Oh.
and you pushed me in the cooler. And guess where this happened at? You know where it was at? You know where it happened at, right?
Yeah, Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if that God was just getting me back for pouring that whole thing of ice, and you know who helped me pour the ice, right? Big John.
Yeah.
You remember Big John that used to work for
Yep.
For Alan? But you know, I've been, you know, ramble on here a little bit, but I've been so blessed with all of the people that helped me, and you know, all the phone calls that I've gotten, Alan, from all these people. You know, Richard Hogan, and you know, Bobby Lagana drove my truck back to the shop for me.
Wow.
Bobby Lagana has a heart bigger than California, man. I mean, he is just. God, I can't say enough about Bobby. He is just an unbelievable person. And he came up to me the other day. He said, "How you gonna get your truck home?" I said, "I'm gonna drive it." I said, "I don't know if I can, but I'm gonna do my best." He said, "Nope, I'm driving it." And he said, "End of story. Don't worry about it. We'll leave at 10 o'clock Sunday morning. I'll be over here to drive it. I'll take you home. Y'all take me to the airport, and I'll fly back to Indy." So that's exactly what we did.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing.
I mean, they don't come
No,
nobody.
that's definitely Bobby, no question about it.
Yeah, man. So it's you know, what can I say? I've been blessed up my whole time. I've had a lot of help, great sponsorship. You know, like Pingle, they've been with me for well over 30 years. You know, I've been with Red Line Oil for every bit of 30 years. So you know, Kibble White has been, you know, with me. I've kept on and held on to all of my sponsors. You know, Trim Techs, they were with me for probably a good 25 years, and they left a couple of years ago due to they went in another direction with their PR, and which was understandable. And still good friends with Joe, and you know, you never know. Maybe he'll come back next year. You don't know, but I'm still going to keep trying to do it, and do it and still try to do it on the level that we've been doing it at.
So can I ask you, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was going to ask the uneducated fan question, since I keep messing up and keep forgetting to call it Top Fuel Motorcycle. I need to know, how'd you get the Spider-Man nickname? Is that just something like you named your bike, or was there something behind of how you got that nickname? Sorry.
That goes all the way back to 1980 when I was riding for Danny Johnson, the very first race. And as Alan could tell you, I move around on the bike a little bit to keep it in the groove, and it's kind of like the car guys turning the wheel, keep it in the groove. I have to use my body to keep it in the groove, so I move a little bit more. And the guy said, "Man, he looks like Spider-Man on there." And over the years, it kind of just stuck with me, and then everybody just kept calling me Spider-Man. And then over the years, next thing you know, you got a suit that kind of looks like Spider-Man, you know, and you know, helmet that kind of looks like it. And it's been really good because the kids absolutely love it, and so that's exactly how I got it. So it kind of stuck with me.
And it's just almost just like it, so Marvel and DC don't come after you.
Well, I went through a 3-year lawsuit with Marvel.
Oh, really?
So yes, so it was pretty much of a nightmare. But I write it in script, Spider-Man. They write it Spider-Man. And I got fluorescent orange. and all that. But what got me in trouble with them was stealing their stuff off the website and putting it on mine. That's what got me in trouble.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it every time. So we came to agreement. We took everything down, and because they wanted my helmet, my leathers, my T-shirt sales money, and all of this kind of stuff. And I don't know, Alan, you might know Kenny Swartz. He's a lawyer out of oh God, up, I don't know, up near Kansas City, but he's a motorcycle racer, and he literally took the case on for free. And he fought it for 3 years and had to make a few trips back and forth to New York. That's when Marvel was in New York. And the end result is he got it all worked out, and where I can still use the name with them not coming after me, because the way we ride it is not no infringement on them. So we got it all worked out, and I'm still Spider-Man.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to ask because I'm like, well, how did he get that nickname?
Yeah. So it's been good. It's been good.
Okay. Sorry, Alan.
Larry, how much pride do you take in where the class is now? Because there was a time not all that long ago where you guys were an endangered species. I mean, if there was 3 of those things on the planet, I don't know that I could have found all 3 of them. And now it seems robust. It's growing. The show is better and better because you guys make so many more full runs than you did back in the day. And I got to believe 75, 80, 90% of that falls on you, because you're the guy who everybody comes to and says, how do I fix these problems? And you kind of like Terry Vance, have cared as much about the class as you did about your success over the years.
Yes, because there's been times when I raced by myself. There was nobody even run me, right? So I've just continued to, and you remember when this happened, 1996, when Blaine and Elmer lost their lives at Indy. Jackie Tratt came up to me and said, Larry, it's up to you to keep Top Fuel alive. And I've had some really, really dark moments with Top Fuel, getting people to come. And I've just kept working at it and kept working at it. We did the deal with NHRA, and it was tough going out and raising the money, and I'm basically raising the money from my sponsors to go to NHRA to be able to pay money so they could pay the racer, right? So we was up to giving up money to NHR, and then they charge us a very small percentage, which we thought was fair, because they give us the Wallies, and you got no entry fee. You had to pay an insurance fee, but Ned Wallister was a big part behind me, because he was at Houston when I went to First 599, as I believe you were there too.
I believe I held the motorcycle when you climbed off and said 599, so you could go jumping across the street and doing cartwheels. Yep,
I believe that was you. I feel yep. So and I've just stayed working at it hard, and we've shared our knowledge with the racers, and we help them all. We do whatever we can to help them. I mean, I took when we went to this race here, I had 2 engines. I did for the boy in Canada, an engine for the Richard Dees, a boy in New York that had bought one of Dave Van Tine's bikes, and this guy in Canada had bought one of Dave's bikes. So I took them engines. I took drive chain, rear wheel, rear tire, spark plugs. I had a whole trailer load of stuff. And it's so hard when you got a tractor trailer and you say, where am I going to put this at? you carry so much stuff, but when they're your customers and you're helping them, and we try to, and we're honest with them, we give them right. I mean, we'll go over there and tune them and tell them what we're doing. I have nothing to hide. Like I tell them, come over and look at my computer. You look at my blower pulleys. I don't really care. It's not like we're running for $1 million. I really got nothing to hide, and I love this sport so much that I want to see it survive. And then after the NHRA deal, Daryl Cole will give us a chance, and now we're racing for more money than we ever have in our life. And We've got 8 good motorcycles. Well, we got 7 right now. I'm a little out, but we're going to come back. So, we got Jaska, the boy from Finland, that's coming. He's going to bring another bike over. So if we can keep what we got, there's some more bikes out there. I believe what we'd like to see, what I'd like to see is Chris Hand come back out. As you know Chris, and we'd like to see Chris come back, not necessarily to ride, but maybe a rider on his bike. And at one time I thought maybe GT Tonkley was going to get to ride it, and I would love to see him on a Top Fuel bike because he would be a great competitor. And I don't know if you've kept up with it or not, but he's been riding a bike for Mike Romines in the park.
I have.
And he's his very first race he went to the finals, and then this race he was number 2 qualifier. So he's doing an unbelievable job. But I'd like to see him over there in the in the inline 4-cylinder supercharged the Top Fuel motorcycle classes, where I'd like to see GT. I just think he's got the right personality to do it. Of course, I'd like to see any of them guys that want to come over. We had Jason Pridemore over when on a supercharged Harley that qualified good, did a good job. And we got Jay Turner. He's building a supercharged Harley. He's really close to being finished. So he's going to come race with us. So it would be nice to be able to get 10 or 12 bikes to come for an 8-bike field. It would be awesome to see that. That's what my goal is, and my goal is also to get show up money for these guys. Back when we was at the NHRA stuff, I went to some friends of mine, Mr. Dunnigan. I went to him and was just telling him what we needed. We just need to get these guys some help. So he gave me $1,000 per motorcycle for tow money. So every race they showed up, they got $1,000. It's not a lot of money, but it helps. It helps buy the fuel, and it's
sure.
It helps relieve some of the pain.
You mentioned GT, so I'm going to ask you this: how much difference is there between riding a Nitro Harley and a Top Fuel motorcycle? Are they similar, or are they drastically different?
They're similar, but in my opinion, a Harley is harder to ride than one of my bikes. A Harley, I put a Harley in like bull riding. A bull, it don't like itself, let alone somebody on his back. So that's kind of the way a Harley is. A Harley is and I love my Harleys, don't get me wrong, but you're talking about them guys, they're running 200 cubic inch motors, and them things are firing about every 3 foot. And it hits the tire so hard. You go to get on one, and you got to look at the handlebars, and then you go, okay, grab them. So because they're kind of going in circles, they vibrate so bad. And but the coolest sounding machine out there. They're way cool, and all the guys in the class are extremely good people. I know every one of them, and I'd do anything in the world for them.
I'm sure they feel the same way about you. Larry, I've kept you much longer than you committed to. I really do appreciate you taking the time and coming on to join us. Anything else that you want to share while we're here?
No, Al, I just want to tell you, man, I love you, man. I'm glad I'm here, brother. I'm just glad I'm here. I'm glad you had me on there, and I can't wait to see you again, because I'm not going to scare you this time.
Well, now you were scared of me. Well, when you fell off the bike. Just to finish up the ice chest story. After he poured the full ice chest into the driver's seat of my rental car, the next day I had to drive that car to Chicago. So I got to think about that for about 4 or 5 hours, whatever it took to drive from Columbus to Chicago.
You had a year to get me back.
And I told him, the way that I figure this stuff, the statute of limitations on revenge is 1 year.
Oh,
so
is that
I've
what
got
it is?
a year to figure out some way to get you back. And for the next year, I had more fun just like peeking around the corner of his trailer and watching him go.
Oh, and I got a quick message. I almost forgot about giving it to you, but my wife wanted me to tell you that she misses you so much announcing.
Oh.
She says, I love me some Alan Reinhart. And she told me to make sure I told you that.
Well, I appreciate that greatly, and be sure to share with her how much I appreciate that as well. Larry, great to catch up with you. great to see that you are in such good shape after such a wild and crazy ride. And, hey, if you're ever short a crew guy or something like that, give me a call. If I got the weekend off, I still know which end of a wrench is which. I'll come out and be glad to come out and help you out.
I want to hold you to that. I would love.
All right. I also have a CDL, so if you need some help with that, let me know.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to tell you right now, that would be badass to have Alan Reinhart in my pits. I can tell you that, because you are an icon, and I got all the respect in the world for you. And your knowledge of racing is far and none the best I've ever seen. So, and you know all about it. I mean, you're way too smart, because they won't even let you in KB shop.
So, you have a sign keeping him out.
They do have a sign in there.
He used to work, if I remember correctly, I think he used to work on a pro stock team.
He used to work for David Nickens. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Many years ago. So
yep.
That's why
I was in his shop. I can't believe it's been like almost 30 years ago now, but I was in his shop during the development of what was then called the Hemi 99, which is the new Dodge Hemi that is still the Mopar engine of choice out there. But all the development, all the stuff on that, I was in the shop, and believe me, none of it had anything to do with me, but it was an education that you couldn't buy, and it was just fascinating being around and seeing what goes through that. And then, I'm a car guy, right? I mean, my fab shop is behind me. I certainly don't have anything as snazzy or fancy as you have, but I like working on stuff. I like building stuff. I like playing with stuff, and that's just me. And nuts and bolts are nuts and bolts. It doesn't matter if it's a Top Fuel motorcycle or a stock eliminator or John Deere tractor. It's nuts and bolts.
Absolutely. I see you got a motorcycle in there too. So
yeah,
I do. I've got a couple of them actually. I've got the black one I'm probably going to sell. The green one that's sitting up in front of it is a little bit more of a hot rod. It's a big inch S&S for the Baker 6-speed and fun cruiser. I gave up the super bikes a while back and turned into a cruiser guy now. But that I think happens at some point when you realize, yeah, maybe I don't need to always be riding on the back tire on this thing. It might be nice to just sit and watch the young kids go out and do that, that's
why I don't ride on the street no more, because I still have
I understand.
I still think I can want to go out there and do the wheelies and stuff. And I don't, with my CDLs and everything that I got, I don't need no tickets. So
you and me both.
Yes.
Well, Larry, thank you again. Really, really appreciate the time. Great to see that you were in such good shape, and I can't wait to see you back out there on a motorcycle. I'm sure you know this, but if there's anything I can do, let me know. And I know that everybody in the industry feels the same way. If there's something you need, if you need a hand, if you need something, just reach out, because we're so grateful that you're still here, and we really look forward to seeing you back out there.
Well, Alan, it's my pleasure to be on the show, and man, I'm just glad to hear your voice and on the speaker again, man, at the races. And it's just, I missed you this weekend. I don't believe you was there doing. You've been coming to some of the IHR races and doing some announcing. Am I correct?
Yes, I have, but I have parted ways with them as of a couple of weeks ago, so I don't have any plans to be back at any of their races going forward. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to miss you, but hey, you might come as a crew guy.
Let me know. I'll be more than happy to show up. If you need a hand, I don't care if you need me to just wax the thing or mount the tire. Just let me know.
Okay, you got it, Al.
Take care, Larry. Thank you again.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank y'all. Bye. Good night.
Oh, man.
Crazy. They're crazy.
Can you imagine? At 68 years old, he came off a motorcycle at 200 miles an hour, and he's a little bruised and battered, but okay.
That's what I can't believe in, like, the tumbling he took. And I know some, stuff about the Top Fuel motorcycles from when I worked with them briefly, but they can't be on when they start their bike. It's that volatile. They wear, and then, so they can lay on there, and then the chest plates that they have to have on when they're riding.
Yeah, and I think Larry wears that too, because he lays over. But the Harley in particular, because of the V10, the back cylinder is pointed right straight at your chest. Okay. And in case it backfires when they start it, that's why they don't sit on them on the Harleys when they start them. But on the Top Fuel 4-cylinder bikes, they do, because when you're sitting up on it, the engine is a couple of feet out in front of you. So those guys do, as a general rule, sit on the bikes when you start it. Yeah, the Harleys are good. I'd like to do a burnout on one, but that's about as far as I want to go.
I've learned so much this episode about, like I said, I only work with Top Fuel Harley, so I know that much, and I work with Ray Price Net, so now I'm learning a whole nother side of it. So something to learn, one to grow on, as they say in the PSAs, one to grow on.
Everybody out there has their niches. Why don't we take a quick break and we'll be back. We've got a couple of other things, including something very strange that you're going to want to see.
Keep life in drive with America's #1 diesel exhaust fluid. Only Blue Def products are triple filtered and guaranteed pure. So no matter what you set out to do, count on Blue Def and Blue Def Platinum. Guaranteed for what drives you.
Welcome back. We're going to run a little over time tonight, but I don't really care, and I don't believe Nicole is that concerned about it either. But we want to say a big thank you to our friends at Strange Engineering. And I'm not sure if you can see it back there, but my Strange Engineering banner is in need of replacement. So this is where we find out if the guys at Strange Engineering are really paying attention to the Alan Reinhart Show. If you are, send me one. And as long as I'm being shameless, my McLeod Clutches banner is also just hanging by a thread back there. So if you guys want to send me another one of those, then I will get that replaced up on the wall of my shop here. And so anyway, we're going to see that. But let's take a look at what we have this weekend. It's strange, and this goes all the way back to the 1985 Gator Nationals.
One of these fuel levers in the wrong direction. Well, this could be the result.
Know your voice.
Bob Gottschalk.
Yes, I remember him.
Inferno. And oh man, how much do you wish we had guard walls back there like we do today to keep those things on the racetrack?
Where's that at?
Gainesville.
I didn't realize they had that many trees.
The car enveloped in flame with Gottschalk inside that cockpit. He hits the fire bottles. You see the fire begin to go down inside the car, but it's still burning outside the firewall. Burning underneath the car. The parachute goes. There goes the rear tire, and Gottschalk loses control.
And of course, safety safari before the car's even there on. That's why I love about NHRA, that safety safari is already out there.
From the time the NHRA safety safari first spotted the fire in Bob Gottschalk's car to the moment they responded on the scene, only 14 seconds had elapsed. It is because of those safety procedures that Bob Gottschalk was able to return to Gainesville Raceway earlier this morning and talk to Steve Evans.
Isn't that wild?
That is wild. I mean, to go over, I mean, keep it on the racetrack, but having to go over, that's crazy.
It's so good that we now have guard walls out there to keep stuff like that from happening. And those trees obviously aren't there anymore in Gainesville because that is all parking area now. As a matter of fact, I put the TV compound. TV compound's on the other side of the racetrack. No, TV compound is down there in Gainesville. But yeah, that was pretty wild. We've got Ask the Announcer is normally coming up, and I had one I answered earlier. It's been really kind of a light week for announcer questions. I did have one though, and if you want to send me something, send it. Ask the Announcer CPTV. It's in Competition Plus TV. Ask the Announcer CPTV at gmail.com. Some questions I respond to personally on Gmail. Some I'll respond to here. But I did get one from a gentleman who wanted to know, is there a next big thing coming? Is there a next something coming in nitro racing? And the reality is not a big thing with the moratorium that has been in place for a number of years, just to keep the teams from spending themselves into oblivion. We've kind of come down now to refining and fine tuning. And if people find better materials or things that'll help the engines be more efficient, but the days of going out and, a new blower, a new magneto, a new something that's going to pick the horsepower up are pretty much gone, I do believe. The cars have enough power now, so the increments are going to be coming a little bit smaller, and it's all going to be a matter of refinement. But, whatever the machine is, if you keep working on it, you're going to be able to make it a little bit more efficient, but you're just not going to have huge gains going forward. And we also have our viral video that's going to be rolling in thanks to the Competition Plus store, where I believe you can get this Don Perdone t-shirt. And they've got some new inventory too. Let's take a look at the video first, and then we'll talk about some of the new stuff coming out of the Competition Plus store right now. Back to 1985 once again. Tommy Mooney, Pro Stock, the IHRA Pro-Am Nationals, and no parachute.
And he's out of control.
No, not the trees again.
Oh, there's parachute.
Down some North Carolina pines.
Only one.
The fiberglass body comes off the race
Are you
car
seeing a
like
theme? Did you think Bobby had a let's knock down some trees this weekend
roll
theme?
cage on the
Putting these
inside.
things together?
Not out of the race car yet. Some anxious moments here waiting for the
Guardrails.
The car was put together.
In the car, Larry.
Car was
So
put
it
together
looks
by
like
the folks at
Tom Mooney
TM Race
is
Cars
calling
and
out.
Tommy.
A terrible crash, but Tom
Gets
Mooney
out.
is okay. Here's a replay of what happened.
And walks away.
IHRA
Yeah, that's one thing that hasn't changed. If your parachute doesn't come out and you lock the brakes up in a Pro Stock car, that is going to end
doesn't do him too much good
poorly.
when he's going backwards, however, as he goes down through the North Carolina pines and mows them down like a tractor. You can see the fiberglass pulling off the car.
We're glad to see he's okay, and right now he's with Marty Reed.
How crazy is that?
That is another one, yeah. That is a
Hey,
crazy
we've talked
car.
about a lot of the throwbacks in the Competition Plus store, and we've got, my chair keeps sinking out from under me.
Yes.
We have got I don't know that it's brand new, but it is relatively new coming up in the store. And since we were speaking of Tommy Mooney, he is going to be one of them. I'm waiting for Jake to go poof. Here's the
Yeah, I'm waiting for the pictures. I know one was Ingersoll. Yeah,
there we go.
Tommy Mooney.
The Tommy Mooney Heritage Series. What do you think of that? Out of TM Race Cars. The Buddy Ingersoll machine, the only V6 machine ever in history.
Really?
And, well, the only V6 Pro Stocker. And Gene Fulton's White Wagon. Didn't Bobby bringing that thing back to life? I think he is. Somebody is.
Yeah.
It's out there doing something.
Man. I just remember driving in the back of a station wagon, like, seatbelts, we don't need no seatbelts. Seats, we don't need no seats.
And our last piece of business today is going to be the flashback from back in the day when the Plymouth Arrow was being advertised as the perfect car for you on the street. And this is really just dumb luck that I wore this today.
Oh, really? Woo!
I didn't know that we were doing the Arrow until, but this is a shirt that can be had in the Comp Plus store as well. This is a little computation, a big long video that was put together.
Compilation.
Compilation. There you go. I knew that word was in there someplace. Take a look back at the Plymouth Arrow, since we're somehow stuck in the 80s here this week.
The low qualifier, Don Prudhomme, the defending champion at the Summer Nationals. Prudhomme also the reigning world champion. You can see the big number 1 proudly displayed on the side of his Plymouth Arrow. His competition, Ed the Ace McCulloch. Two of the top professionals in drag racing. McCulloch into problems right off the starting line. Prudhomme with an outstanding 6.26 second elapsed time, 227 miles an hour.
Brand new Plymouth Arrow, low-priced and economical, and also small, fun, and functional. With features like the popular hatchback style, popular because of its wide-open feeling, a generous trunk for loading with all kinds of fun things. Plymouth dealers have never offered anything like it before. It's low-priced, as only a subcompact can be. The base model is the Arrow 160. For more style, more luxury, there's an Arrow GS. And the Arrow with everything going for it, the Arrow GT. Just 13 feet, 11 3/10 inches overall. On a very maneuverable and quick 92.1-inch wheelbase. Weight, 2,156 pounds. A ton of fun. But it's inside where people develop a real affection for Arrow. For starters, both the seats recline. That's standard on every model. And when you order a copper exterior on the GT, you get these special copper houndstooth body cloth inserts for the seats. The GS features distinctive door trim and handsome durable Richmond vinyl in black, white, or blue with contrasting accents. The 160 model sports big, wide buckets and durable vinyl over deep foam padding. Spring-loaded seat back latches make it easy to get into the rear compartment, where you have a choice: a rear seat for people or big carpeted trunk. There's a storage compartment for hiding things from outside eyes, and dozens of features with the same thoughtfulness. Like this unique command console on the GT. It houses an adjustable reading light, a door ajar light, a low windshield washer fluid light, and a dome light. The handsome instrument panel features a speedometer, a tachometer, fuel and water temperature gauges, and a lighted ashtray. And the center console houses ampere and oil pressure gauges, plus a handy coin holder. Best of all, the new Arrow is backed and protected by the famous Clincher warranty. Plymouth Arrow. What more can a little car give?
Familiar names in there.
There definitely were. You can tell you've gone back in time a long ways when they thought a selling point was a lighted ashtray.
Woo! Yes, I missed that one. I was just thinking of like the trunk where you can either put people or it's carpeted.
Well, you put people when you're sneaking into the drive-in theaters when you're 17 years old and nobody's got any money.
Yes.
Like, so you're coming to see the movie by yourself, huh? Yes, sir. And then you got to pull over in the dark behind the concession stand and let your buddies out.
Oh, we've all seen Grease, yeah. The music too is a little bit groovy. I like that Ed McCauley had that nice little fro going on.
Yeah, Ed had it all going on back in the day.
Oh yeah.
He's on my list. I'm gonna reach out to Ed one of these days and see if I can sneak him to come in here and tell some of his stories from back in the day and let everybody know about what he's been up to lately. But definitely on my list. Fun show, huh?
Yes. I learned so much, and like I said, I still can't believe that no broken bones. He just tumbled, and no broken bones. It just that little, wow. So,
absolutely.
So what are you doing? What are you going to? You're going to Lebanon. Where else are you going before next?
I'm home. I'm home this week. I'm going to Lebanon Valley 4th of July. I have locked down my upcoming appearance at Woodburn. For their double divisional that's coming up at the end of July. I'm going back to Australia officially in September. I'll be headed back to Sydney over there for the next event. So been just kind of filling in some dates on the calendar, and anybody wants to give me a call, you know where to find me. And if you need something and I can help, then I'm more than willing to help.
I was going to say, I'm not going to Norwalk. I know it's like 4 or something hours away, but anybody who knows Norwalk, number one thing, the price of hotels in Norwalk. So yeah, I'm going to stay home and I'm going to be a dog sitter for some of the people who are going to the race. But I'm going to be going to Sonoma, and I just want to get a quick plug. So I'm going to be going to Sonoma. I work with a foundation called the Della Penna Foundation, and we try to introduce girls to motorsports careers, and STEM engineering, but like any of the jobs. And we're actually going to be out there. We're going to be bringing girls to the track, introducing them to different ladies out there who are doing jobs that they could have, opening up. Most of them, don't go to the drag races, so they don't know all the jobs available. So we have at least 3 more spots open. So if you know any high school girls who are going to be in the Sonoma area, in that area, would like to participate, please check out the Della Penna Foundation, because I'd love to show off my passion for drag racing to them and show them what is out there for drag racing. Yeah, because the girls, they're mostly IndyCar girls, what I've dealt with. And at PRI, we had them out, and they met Ida and Krista, and they were just blown away when they said how fast they went and what they do. And they're like, I'm sorry, what? How fast you go? And like I said, Krista, who can hook you up with that McLeod thing, she talked to him and explained everything that goes into driving a top fuel car, and they were very impressed. So I want them to actually see the ladies drive in person.
That's awesome. That's one of the things I actually miss not being on the NHRA tour anymore, was that I was always very involved with the youth and education program, where they would have students come out, and obviously it was mostly male students, but there were, there are a significant number of female students that are in automotive programs or interested in, whether it's hot rods, race cars, or just getting a career in those type of trades that would come out and spend a day at the drag. So no, that's cool. I applaud the program, and hopefully you can fill up those last 3 spots, because there's definitely a lot to see, a lot to learn, and Sonoma's a pretty cool racetrack to go visit.
Yeah, and if anybody, I will be getting Thursday morning, so whoever's wine tasting, call me, I'll come with you. Because they know I love my wine. And Sonoma, it's the most gorgeous place. I mean, and I tell people, they're like, there's a racetrack in Sonoma? And I'm like, heck yeah, you're riding through vineyards, and all of a sudden, hey, there's a racetrack. Domaine Carneros.
Yeah, has been for a long. How does nobody know that there's a racetrack in Sonoma? IndyCar raced there for a number of years. NASCAR still races there. We've been going there since the 90s.
Yeah.
Come on. If you don't know there's a racetrack in Sonoma, it's because you don't want to know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, so I will be doing that one, but I will be doing the home front at this weekend, Norwalk. Because like I said, I love Norwalk. I love the ice cream. I love the show Bill Bader puts on. If you get the chance to go to Norwalk and you can get reasonably priced hotel rooms, definitely head up there, go up there.
Yeah, this time of year, being up there in Sandusky and all the water parks and all the stuff, the hotels can definitely be a little bit pricey. It is good, I think, that they got it off of the 4th of July weekend, because the 4th of July weekend just made it worse. The number of people that were coming into Sandusky for 4th of July holidays that need hotels, and then having the racers come in. So the fact that they're going a week beforehand, and if you like fireworks, you will love Norwalk. Trust me on this. If you like fireworks, you will love Norwalk. So wish everybody the best. Safe travels to all. Thank you, Nicole and Jacob. Thank you for taking care of things behind the scenes. And I hope we didn't keep you. I hope you're not going too deep into the overtime. But if you are, Bill Bob, he'll deal with it. Come back in a couple of weeks. We'll see you right here. Catch up on the Alan Reinhart Show, starring Nicole Clark.
Thanks.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.